This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Antias Theatre for their presentation of Liaisons Dangereuses. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. Now I'm here with
Elyse Mirto. Let's see, well, I've met you a couple times. You interviewed me after Figaro at A Noise Within and The Guardsman, and last year I was doing Barbecue at the Geffen. I can't remember if we met then, and now here I am as the Marquise de Mirto in Les Liaisons Dangereuses at the Antias Theatre Company. The Marquise, I think she's a little bit of a superhero. I know everyone thinks she's evil, but at a time when women had absolutely no choice, she found a way to make some choices, and she can be a little ruthless and a little cruel, but ultimately she is a person who's trying to be a trailblazer for women.
You know, there's a lot going on about women in Hollywood being abused and all that. Is this kind of a solution?
I mean, everyone would like to get what they want. I just think everyone should be treated with respect, male or female, and I think if we all treated each other with respect and took a step back and realized that we're all human, no matter if we have something dangling between our legs or not, and we could start there. You know, there has been a long history of Hollywood and misogyny, and hopefully it's changing. But it's not necessarily the women's job to change it. I think it's also a job of all of the wonderful good men in this city to also say, we're not taking that anymore. Don't treat our wives, our daughters, our mothers, our aunts, our sisters like this. And they need to speak up as well. So.
Another question struck me. Is there really such a thing as love? Does it not exist? Or is it all just a game?
I'm not a philosopher, but I do believe love exists. I have it in my life. I feel very lucky. I think in this play, I don't know if the Marquise is entirely capable of love. I think she's more concerned about forwarding herself in this present time and one-upping men. I mean, she does say, I was born to dominate your sex and avenge my own, is what she tells the Belmont. And she also says, win or die. So that's more important than love for her. But in the real world, there is indeed love.
I love your character. You know, I'm a big fan of anti-heroes. I think you were beautifully, you played it beautifully. Even when you were telling people you love them, I was thinking, is she telling the truth? Is she lying? Is she just playing us? What's with this? So I just love the way you played that.
Thank you. She is a manipulator, definitely.
Once again, I really love the play. I loved your character. I love the way you performed it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. We'll tell everyone else Dangerous Liaisons, or Les Liaisons Dangereuses, plays until December 10th at the Antias Theatre Company in Glendale.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Scott Ferrara. I am an actor who is having a blast doing Valmont in Antias' production of Les Liaisons Dangereuses. I have been doing classical plays all of my life, and I am overjoyed to be a part of this extraordinary company.
Which character do you play again?
Valmont. He's a darker man who has run out of ways to find pleasure in the world, and so he is finding new ways to excite himself and delight himself. And the next victim, I guess you could say, is a pious, honest, pure woman that he wants to essentially not only tear down, but in a new way. He wants actually to replace essentially her God with himself. So it's a whole new way of tearing down another person, which was commonplace during this time. So it's exciting to play someone who is who uses all tricks that he has in his pockets in order to bring joy and pleasure to himself.
Your character was obviously an anti-hero, but basically it kind of brought this question to my mind. Is there such a thing as love, or is it all just a game?
You know, I think for Valmont it starts out as a game, and I think as the play moves forward, that game becomes, at least for him, something very real and something very new. That is something that he can't control anymore. And I think for some, the game is the control. The game is watching the twists and turns. The game is the manipulation. And the purity of love, the innocence of love, the first step that when you speak the words which Torvald says to him, almost in the in the most purest, honest way, I love you so much. It's almost too overwhelming. It's almost too much for someone who sees everything as corrupting and stripping away. I think there's an ebb and flow of those two things that are happening, at least with him and in this world, and in our world as well. And I think it's what we struggle with most. It's why when we see Romeo and Juliet, some of us, depending on where we are, get, very, we feel very cynical about it. And then at certain times we fully go into it. And I think there's a simplicity and purity of Torvald's character that is purely magnetic for Valmont.
I love the way you played, because you are so charismatic, but you were also very, very dark. But in a sense, I also felt you being transcendent. There were certain things that you couldn't control, certain things that were greater than you. For a person like that, that's actually very amazing.
Well, I thank you, because that was a lot of things that you described are things that we, the director, the other actors as well, wanted to accomplish. Is that struggle and that there is certain forces that are beyond our control, and we wanted to explore those extremes of the charismatic joy, but also really not shy away from the darker elements of him. And I have a tendency to want to go into those darker places. So it was lovely to really allow that to kind of breathe, and especially with the times as they are, with a lot of the harassments that are coming out. Robin did a masterful job of highlighting the effect of what these traumas do to these women in the society, and I was happy to go on board, even though I may have lost some laughs along the way. I thought, for me, I wanted to really go to the brutality of this and not shy away from it. So I'm glad that read across the lights.
Interesting. Once again, I loved your performance. You were just captivating.
Thank you.
You in a sense, also for classical theater, sometimes the drones on, you never droned on. Every single syllable kind of brought meaning to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That has a great deal to do with the cast and the director and the extraordinary script. And it's really a wonderful mix of everyone, and I'm just so thankful that you had an enjoyable night. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you once again for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Liza Seneca. I'm a proud company member here at Antias. It's my second show with the company and my first show in this new space.
Great. And which character did you play?
Madame de Tourvel. Boy, she is a woman who really believes in what's right. She believes in her marriage. She believes in God, and everything she knows is tested in such a huge way. And despite herself, she falls head over heels in love and is completely decimated in the end by this man that she has let herself fall for.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
A show that has, I really think, something for everybody. It is, it's smart, it's witty, it's sexy, it's tragic, and I think incredibly relevant. It really speaks to people in power and what they kind of think that they are above, and particularly at the moment with this whole Harvey Weinstein ordeal and everything that's come out about him and various men in power, that this man, this basically sexual predator, and what he gets away with, and in the end that probably as an audience you'll probably root for him in some way, and I hope that sparks interesting conversations on the way home. I'm thankful for a company like Antias that really, because we're in a film and TV town, but this company really celebrates the importance of doing classic work and of really, there's a difference in sustaining a 3-hour show versus, doing a 30-second scene. You have to have a different muscle, and I'm grateful for this place for offering that to actors.
Yeah, I love anti-heroes. I'm just a big fan of it because I think they're so complex. They have extremes, ups and downs, rights and lefts, goods and bads. But actually, I think it's very necessary to have characters like yours too, who are kind of like an anchor point where you kind of know, where's ground zero. So I think your character is very important. I really like the way you played it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I agree. I mean, you can't see. I don't think the anti-hero is as clear without the balance, without the counterpoint. So I appreciate that comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, I really love the performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Paul Culos, and I played Donsony in Liaisons Dangereuses at Antilles. He's all heart, and he's young and in love and eager to pursue his love, and he's easily manipulated because he expects the best of everybody. And throughout the course of the play, he grows so much when he's deceived, and later finds out that the man he's trusted this entire time has double-crossed him, and he has to grow up very quickly in a matter of months in the show. It was an incredible journey, and Robin Larson held my hand the entire time, and this cast was a dream to work with.
So, question. This struck my mind. Is there really such a thing as love, or is it all just some kind of game?
That's a really good point. I think this play posits that it is a bit of a game, but I think for Donsony, that is part of the journey. He comes into it so naive and so willing to believe in this iconic form of love, and at the end, I believe he rejects all of it to pursue a more monastic religious lifestyle in Malta, where they say he goes off to Malta because he doesn't want to get tied up in those feelings anymore and tied up in that negative energy because of what happened with him in Valmont and Cecile and Mirto. So I would say that he's certainly disillusioned by his first impressions of it, and I don't know that there's any going back. I mean, he killed a man because of it, and at the same time, I think it's tainted forever.
I liked your character. He was very heroic. I mean, he was very innocent. He expressed a different type of love, where love really exists. If you just believe in it, all you have to do is just believe in it, stand for it, and then it exists.
Well, I think also part of this show is that this upper class society has this tainted view of love, and yet Donsony is not. He's part of the noble class, but he's also not part of that upper crust. He talks in the play about being lower class or not having as much money per se, and so I don't even think any of that affects him. I think what it's really about is this connection he has with this beautiful young woman who they share this connection when they play music together, and unfortunately both of them are manipulated on both sides. Me by Mirto, Cecile by Valmont, and because of that, we can't go back to what that innocence was. We've basically had that stolen from us over the course of the show, and I think there's a lot of grief and conflict and who are we now that we've made these decisions? Who are we now that we've been exposed to this lifestyle? I think they could have been together if Valanche had allowed her daughter to be with me. I think it would have been happily ever after. I think that possibility does exist, but I think you're right. Donsony does leave the play thinking that love is not real and it can't happen for him.
I really love the play. It might have been a little sad, but again, and actually, it's something I really can't recommend for children because there's a lot of really adult themes to it, which again, I really liked about it.
Yeah. I mean, the show has some definitely more adult-toned jokes, and certainly some of the action that happens in the play is probably not for kids under 13, but I think it's important for people to see a play like this because it does deal with important themes of sexual exploit, which are prevalent in our society now, and that we need to bring to the forefront of our consciousness so we can all talk about them. I hope this play brings about conversation for people to go, you know, we laughed at that in this show, but how do we see that today? How are gestures like this made today and accepted, or how can we take action against them? Because in this play, I hope that people walk away and go, this is just disgusting and despicable. We shouldn't live this way, despite the comedic twist that is layered in there. Christopher Hampton did a genius job of adapting the book to this play, so I commend him for doing that. But when I read the play for the first time, I thought to myself, I hate Belmont. I hate that scene with me and him, because I was like, I don't want to like you at the end because you repented. You were a terrible man, and you made some, and you showed no signs of forgiveness. And yet in this play, we see a lot of the sides of it, but I still think that people should go away going, this guy was not a good man, even though you're compelled to like him. His actions speak so much louder than his words. So,
yeah, well, definitely a broken man. The play, again, a lot of complex things about it. I loved it. I loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thanks so much.
Liaisons Dangereuses will be playing at Antaeus Theatre from October 19th to December 10th. For more information, go to www.antaeus.org.